Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Everyone checking in on this sector, looking at all the names that we cover all the time. I had one trade in CGC today. I'll go over that a little bit in detail first to let you know a little bit of a glimpse into my mindset as far as a day trade goes. And then we'll go through and do our regular analysis. So for me, CGC, we were watching the key support level of 23.65. And looking at the 5-minute time frame this morning, we came down, held that level initially after some weakness first thing. Saw a bounce from 23.76, so we held support by 11 cents. We bounced up about 2%, a little bit under 2%. Then we dropped down and broke that support level. The support break only occurred by 3 pennies. The bulls defended it. One more quick little flash down. This time, that support broke by 8 pennies, and then just a big-time bull move. And that was showing us bears don't have much follow-through. We're not triggering a whole lot of stops. We're not seeing significant bear volume, and the bulls took that as a sign of strength. So from there, at that point after that bounce, we can say, okay, that's a big bull move coming off of that support level, and I bet there's going to be a lot of bulls looking to buy in on initial consolidation. So what I did was look for an initial 5-minute higher low entry, knowing that the 15-minute time frame looked like this, and I knew that if we lost the 5-minute uptrend or if we did not see any significant strength on that 5-minute higher low, then a 15-minute equilibrium was more likely. So on the 5-minute time frame, I scaled in my initial entry at 24.30. We traded sideways, and I said to myself, okay, one entry at 24.30. If we keep dropping straight down on this 5-minute time frame, I'm going to look for a second entry at 24 even. That'll give me an average at 24.15. I'll be comfortable with that position because we will be looking for a 15-minute higher low to form. As soon as this bounce took place here, this little bounce, that shifts things for me. And I was being extra cautious today because I'm traveling, I'm on small monitors, I'm not in my comfort zone, and anybody that has animals, humans are animals, we know how much they love habit. Well, if I'm a trader and I'm in my zone, I know that I need to have my routine down. I need to be doing the same things that I'm doing for a while to have that flow and that success. And when I'm traveling or when I'm away from my home base, it's almost like a sports team playing an away game. You have better odds of winning if you're playing at home because you're comfortable with the routine and everything and not in a new place with new experiences and traveling around and off your A game. So if I have the choice to trade significant capital at a home game or an away game, I will always choose the home game, and I will be more cautious on the away game. So I'm in the away stadium right now, and I want to be extra cautious. So I make that entry, and as soon as I see this small bounce happen, I say, okay, change of game plan. I no longer want my second entry at 24 because if we drop down for a little lower high and lower low and break 24.25, I know that we are then seeing the 15-minute consolidation, and at that point, I don't have a support level to be going off of. If 24.25 breaks here, I have no support to be going off of aside from the low of the day. That's way too much risk for me in the position size that I'm playing with to just say, oh, I'll put my stop down there and hope it doesn't get triggered. So what I did was I sold half of my position for a 6-cent gain, knowing that I could then put my stop under 24.25 and worst case scenario get stopped out, break even. I also knew I wasn't going to be watching the computer midday today. So I put my stop there. I got stopped out, break even. I knew a 15-minute higher low is still likely to take place, but because I cannot pinpoint my risk and reward setup, I'm not going to get in that trade because I do not have a proper handle on that risk to reward. Risk management in trading is just as important as emotional control and understanding the actual information as far as technical analysis goes. So I decided to limit my short-term downside, knowing that I would likely get stopped out. If we held that support level, it would have been a very strong bull break. You could potentially say this was more like a cup and handle. So I gave myself that opportunity, and then as soon as it fell down, and as soon as we saw the bull break here, I said, well, we got that 15-minute higher low as we were anticipating. Again, I wasn't at the computer, and that's the kind of scenario where I will gladly take a scratch and say, all right, CGC, I'll get you next time when I'm back home and comfortable. At this point, the daily time frame, is it still a bull flag for CGC? You can say so. And it's the daily 12-period exponential support catching up day by day. It's declining volume on this consolidation. And you look at it on the 4-hour time frame, there's no red flags here at this point. The bulls would prefer to have changed. Pretty much tomorrow's an important day. We need to change this hourly trend. We have to hold 23.57 and break the high of today, 24.66, which would be an hourly trend change. If that does not happen and we drop down and break 23.57, we're going to start fading away from bull flag possibility. That being said, I'm still interested in the daily exponential support. That level is going to be up over 23 tomorrow. And as long as that level holds, and as long as we don't see big bear volume spikes, I still consider it pretty healthy consolidation. Another thing that the bulls are pleased about is APHA. Even if you're not in a position in APHA, if you're in a bullish position in the sector, you want to see it go up. So looking at it on the weekly time frame, we have now changed the trend. It acted as a laggard because of its reaction to earnings, held it back a little bit, but it's now following CGC and Cureleaf. And if you are a bull in this sector, you want as many individual names in weekly uptrends as possible. So we did break that resistance of 561 yesterday, but this is obviously much more convincing follow-through, bull volume, and a nice candlestick. We had news of another approval for some European manufacturing, and that seems to have sparked these bulls to take the lead short term as far as correlation to its peers. Resistance is 584, which is up here. Where is that resistance? So there's 585. So 585 was the high of extended hours on the earnings reaction, and we rejected from that today. After 585 would be 6 psychological, and anything on the hourly chart above 532 is an hourly high or low. So just like that, it's now a short-term lead bull in the space. There were a lot of names we were looking for daily higher lows to form on today from yesterday's video. Some of them shaping up much better than others. ACB was a daily inside bar, so we're going to be watching for this inside bar tomorrow. If it breaks 210 bullish, our daily higher low is set at 194, and we're looking back up at 232. Cron, daily inside bar, and a tightening 4-hour range. So if we look at it with extended hours on, bulls are hoping that it's not a head and shoulders pattern, where this would be the potential left shoulder, this would be the head, and this would be the right shoulder, and this would be our neckline. Left side neckline is $8. Right side neckline would be 808. So tomorrow, if we break 8 and 808, that is going to be a loss of the 4-hour uptrend. The bulls have to hold 808 and turn around and break 868 to be looking back up at the recent high. It's a daily inside bar, but I like the 4-hour chart a bit more for clarity. I still consider anything for Cron above 663 as a daily high or low. We did have a little base of support at $8, but I would not consider the daily uptrend lost if that support level broke. TLRY is also a daily inside bar, but a weaker close, upper wicks of profit taking. Most important support for me here is 1956. I would consider that a loss of the daily uptrend if that level were lost. For me, it's a more clear pivot point. Higher low, higher high, whereas Cron, not really a convincing higher low at all. If we're talking percentage-wise, it's a difference of 1 penny, so fraction of a percent, whereas TLRY pulled back notably more, multiple percent, to give that clear pivot. Hexo was another name we were watching for a daily higher low to form on, and it is obviously not doing so. Why? Hexo is the weakest name that we're watching to look for a daily higher low, and it's likely because we had some dilution news recently. Closing at the low of the day yesterday, low of the day today, slight uptick in bear volume. I do still believe that 125 is going to hold the initial test, but if we compare it to a name like Labs, that's a healthy daily high or low. That's a close up near the high of the day. From the low of 372, we bounced a solid 8% or so, 7%. Much more convincing. So a lot of similar setups. Some names bounce stronger than others, some in the middle. And Hexo was the weakest. Still hasn't bounced yet. OGI, now it's time to start scouting for a daily high or low. If we get to hourly oversold conditions, which we got right up on it this morning, it is a nice tight equilibrium on the half-hour time frame here. 298 double top, clear little higher lows. If that were to break bearish, I would be watching for a bounce off the daily 12-period exponential support in hourly oversold conditions. And you can make the trade come to you. I don't trade OGI often, so I can say to myself, if hourly RSI is oversold and we touch the daily 12-period exponential support, I'm going to start scaling into positions. If that doesn't happen, I'm not. And even if we bounce a little bit higher than that exponential support and I miss that trade, I'll just go on and make the next trade. That's how we can remain really picky and make trades come to us only under the most ideal conditions and not come to the trade. The trade has to come to us. Not going to go find that trade only if it meets those criteria. VFF was another name we were looking for the daily high or low. Bit of a better bounce, middle of the ground, similar to ACB in terms of how its attempt is shaping up. Hourly time frame. Need to see the bulls break 596 tomorrow for us to say our daily high or low is 571. So all these names that are attempting the daily high or low, a break of the high of today, would go a long way in confirming it. Same for labs. Strongest one, but still want to break a 402 to then be looking for a lower high compared to 444, but get that bounce follow through. Have we changed the hourly trend? Not convincingly. VLNS still healthy, short term 373 key support. Let's see if it's a 4-hour equilibrium shaping up. Not an ideal one, but we can see that 373 has to hold, and bulls have to break 393 to regain this momentum in their favor. Could this be a daily bull flag? At this point, yes, still possible. If we break 373, I would say no longer likely. IPR is also healthy consolidation. 4-hour tightening range. If I were going to draw this as an equilibrium, it would be the high and low on the same candle. Lower high, 31 cents shy of resistance. Higher low, just above support. And watching for a lower high compared to 84.69. Very similar to CGC. Let's see, we topped out 5 candles ago. CGC. It's very similar. Keep an eye on that correlation. Certainly not a common correlation that we watch. Kira Leaf, big red day yesterday, daily inside bar today. They had news that they're kicking the can down the road. Kicking the can down the road in terms of extending the shareholder lockup. And they've done that many times. Market initially responding bullish with a nice bounce, but giving it all back by the end of the day. We would have to hold 888 and break 941 to change the hourly trend for our daily higher low to be set. Bulls are attempting to hold this daily exponential support, but not confidently doing so at this point. CWEBB, also a potential 4-hour tightening range. So if we look at this as an equilibrium, we've got the high, low, double top, and anything above 1093 is a higher low. 1091 is the actual level. So, tightening range, keeping an eye out for a higher low compared to 1091 and looking for a break of this tightening range. Probably Friday, but possible tomorrow. TRUL. So TRUL is close to losing its short-term momentum. Hourly time frame, nice and tight. So low of a pullback, high of a bull move, higher low, lower high. If 1408 breaks, we're then in an hourly downtrend, and the odds that we have topped out on this daily chart would increase. Pulling up the 2-day chart just to make it a bit more condensed for clarity. Keeping an eye out for a lower high to be set with 1435 current resistance, and if we pull back more meaningfully, we will then scout a higher low compared to 1292 for this range to continue to tighten. IAN pulling back and still has not found a daily high or low. Close at the low of the day. At this point, the pullback from that high is pretty significant. About 12-13% or so. Still in a daily uptrend, but this is more of a significant pullback than we're seeing on IIPR, CGC, and the other names that are more healthy. CWEBB, also a name that is holding up a bit better and more healthy. CL, watching for a daily higher low compared to 745. I'm expecting this to range like this. Hourly trend change will indicate the daily higher low has been set, and looking for this range to continue to tighten for a solid week or two at least. GTII is another one of those names with very healthy daily consolidation, similar to CGC. Bear break yesterday with no real follow-through. Daily inside bar today on no volume. And if bulls can break 1337, bullish, it's a potential daily bull flag as well. Harv, looking for a higher low compared to 372, but a bit more significant of a pullback at this point. Not as confident building. So if I'm going to stack these names up as to who's holding the best on the daily chart in a bit of a bull flag pattern, I would be looking at CWEBB, GTII, IIPR, VLNS, CGC, APHA is doing its own thing. We got TRUL doing its own thing, so everybody has their own setups, but these names are all similar with their healthy daily consolidation, and we'll see if we can get hourly trend changes to confirm the momentum shift back to the bulls to try and get follow-through off this daily consolidation. So that's where we stand in the sector as a whole. I'm patiently waiting for a bit more clarity on this sideways trading. If you are thinking longer term, there's no red flags at this point. The bounce that we saw from that low on CGC was a bit relieving for bulls. And if you are looking to be a swing trader, potentially there's opportunity to enter on this consolidation, looking for some eventual continuation. And for me, the exponential support, again, it's a great visual guide for confidence. I am less confident in these names. Just look at IAN. Obviously, the close of the low of the day is meaningful, but losing that support level makes me less confident in a continuation move off of consolidation as opposed to our good friend, the equilibrium result. Hope you're well. Probably no video tomorrow. I'll be traveling, but back to normal Friday, and we'll see you soon.